heaven knows, no matter how much the government takes, they're always gonna take more. And the Minns government here in New South Wales has decided to go about this by freezing the land tax threshold. They stand to gain $1.6 billion over the next 4 years by doing this. But of course, this doesn't seem like a very smart idea in the middle of a cost of living crisis running in conjunction with a housing crisis, because we all know if you make things more expensive for property owners, they just pass on the cost. And right now, people are bleeding out of every orifice just to keep a roof over their heads. Many people simply can't afford to do it. That, and there's not enough supply. But how do you like this? Here's the New South Wales Treasurer telling us about this new move by the New South Wales government and being like, don't worry, most people don't pay land tax in New South Wales anyway. And those that do, well, they just get it back off the feds.
Do you acknowledge that the non-indexation of land tax thresholds will push up rents and impact small businesses?
No, it won't. And I simply make this point. Other states have higher land taxes and higher lower land tax thresholds than New South Wales, but they are building more homes and their rents have not increased anywhere near as fast as has happened here in New South Wales. The reason why I can say that is because these changes simply align New South Wales threshold indexation methods to the same that is used in practically every other state. We expect it to raise about $1.6 billion, but let's just get the facts on the table here. Very few people pay land tax in New South Wales. Of those who do pay land tax in New South Wales, the vast majority claim a lot of that back from the federal government. We're confident that we will be making good decisions going forward into the future about what the land tax threshold is.
So, in the one hand, he's saying not many people pay this anyway, and the ones that do, they get most of it back from the federal government. And on the other hand, he's saying how much his government stands to gain from this. So clearly, there are a lot of people paying it, enough, in fact, for you guys to make $36 billion in revenue, because land tax is expected to grow by 8.7%, coming up to 35, 37. This is just absolute nonsense from the government, and to claim that this isn't going to affect renters. We all know you up the cost for property owners, they pass the cost along. It's just as well the maximum rental assistance has been bumped up by 40% in this nation by the federal government since May 2022. So people can't afford their rents. They're relying on the government, who's making these ridiculous policies that are aiding and abetting the rents being pushed up, while then using our taxpayer dollars to help people pay their rent. It's just a complete loophole of idiocy.
Yeah, clearly our politicians don't understand that old phrase, mutually exclusive, where you can't do two things at the same time because they cancel each other out. So to boast that you're going to solve the housing crisis, which was the big boast of their budget, while at the same time on the sly hitting landlords with a property tax that they will invariably pass on to renters, the two things are mutually exclusive. So for them to pretend they're doing something about the housing crisis is just junk.
It's just, when you look at the tax-free threshold for land tax, it's now being frozen at $1.075 million. Look at the prices in Sydney.
Right.
That is a lot of properties here. You'd be hard-pressed to find a walk-in wardrobe in the eastern suburbs that costs less than that.
Yeah.
So I don't understand where he's getting this idea from, that not many people are going to end up paying it. But I do have to say, in the state government's defence, you know, New South Wales is getting a much smaller proportion of what the federal government is carving out in terms of the GST. So they do
I'm from WA. Do not try and convince me there is a state doing badly by the GST carve-up. I will not.
I'm thinking the New South Wales government is trying to get people to claim the money back from the federal government in a different way. It could be kind of a creative way of rerouting things.